Oh, no, can't reach it. I forget how to get to that. Oh, wait, there it is. Wait! Oh, yeah! Ooh, these levels are really nice to look at. Back when they seeing these
when levels were still good.
like, so I guess you can tell that the enemies and the characters on screen were 3D renders that they kind of rendered into 2D. Mm-hmm. And then if you contrast that with the backgrounds that you see that are just kind of like pixel art kind of, but they're realistic looking. So like they still look good. Like the rocks and the dirt and the trees and stuff. Oh boy.
Yeah, you can distinguish like plant from plant. It's not just a blur. And that's a tough thing when you're doing pixel art. I've done a little bit of pixel art myself. I've dabbled.
In it.
It's the temptation is strong to just kind of like, it's just a tree. I'll just kind of like put dots here. They'll understand. But to have really excellent pixel art, you really have to labor over each individual dot. And that's a hard thing to do when you're just trying to when you're trying to make something, when you're just trying to put a project out there.
Yeah, one really neat thing is like if you leave these characters, they have a lot of personality. So like if you let them sit there for a while, they'll just kind of like do stuff like this, like he'll start beating his chest. Diddy will take off his hat and scratch.
I gotta take off my hat and scratch a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, I skipped a barrel there. I didn't mean to do that, but I'll take it. Make sure to get that save point. There are checkpoints in these levels. Oh boy.
Appreciate the great volume of nuts.
Yeah, a lot of nuts in this level. In this particular section of the island, you're gonna start seeing a lot of nuts.
Okay, nuts are nice. That's my political platform.
Look, double nuts. 2 nuts coming at you real quick.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. What is Rare teaching these children? Not these children.
These children.
Yeah, I don't know.
These guys flinging nuts everywhere. Alright, I've got some barrel blasting to do.
Those stingy boys.
They're scary looking. So in Donkey Kong Country 3, the bee enemy is mechanical, and he has a buzzsaw instead of a stinger. It's pretty crazy looking.
It's interesting because there seems to be there seems to be more restraint on other enemy designs. Like the vultures, it's just a vulture.
It just looks like a vulture, yeah.
Yeah, but the stingy boys are just like, hey, we got to put all the pokies on these things that we can fit.
They're called zingers.
Yeah, the stingy boys, you know what I mean? Hey, there's the boss.
Yeah, look, let's see if I can do this real quick. Oh, wait, there it is. Wait! Oh, yeah!
I guess that works. I mean, they gave it to you.
Oh, I screwed it up.
Oh, DK is disappointed.
All that for nothing.
Man.
Oh, by the way, I used to love these levels, like the background. It's like a little, tree village.
Yeah.
It's like a stilt, kind of Ewok looking.
Yeah, definitely. I can definitely see that. So who are the inhabitants of this? Is these beaver things?
They don't really say.
So
maybe it's the Kremlings, like the bad guys. The Kremlings are like the reptile-looking guys.
This is a matter of environmental storytelling, and so if we take this game for what it's telling us, these beavers live in the tree. These river-dwelling mammals.
Well, also
oh no!
No, I didn't.
Oh, there we go.
So the story of this game, I forgot to tell you in the beginning. The story is that King K. Rool.
He stole bananas, right?
He came to the island and he stole DK's banana horde. So he is Donkey Kong's trying to get his bananas back.
Right.
And that's why you're here. And you're trying to find your banana horde. And I don't know if you noticed, but all the bad guys were in these banana layers. Woo! Oh man, it's gonna get rough here. Oh, Tyler.
Bang, bang, bang. Nice.
Oh, triple.
A triple threat.
That's what I'm talking about.
Get the blue boys.
So these ones that have the explosive mark on them are automatic.
Automatic.
You don't get to choose when they shoot.
Yeah, dog.
So you gotta be looking 2 steps ahead of yourself sometimes.
Oh
my God! I'll take it.
The Lord has cometh.
The Lord works in mysterious ways.
Oh, wait.
Oh, no!
Oh.
Oh, God.
Did a frog jump on that one, too? It was a little oily.
No, that was a little slip there. Oh, God. Woo.
Bye-bye.
All right, I don't need that. Oh, no! Oh, God.
Hey, it's
gosh.
okay. It worked out.
Getting in a little bit of a rush here. Okay, so see here, you really
Yeah,
gotta...
it's going to automatic. Yeah, I got you.
You really gotta time that.
Beef Farnsworth. I like that name a
Farnsworth.
lot. Beef Arnsworth?
Orange.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I see how it's working. Yeah, I can definitely see that, like, your first run through this game, there's a lot of, like, oh, wait, that's what that does? Ah,
Yeah,
poop.
that's old game design.
Yeah,
Is
trial and error.
putting you through the works. You're like, okay, now I know that this barrel does that.
Right.
Oh, God. Speaking of barrels. Ooh! I almost didn't make that. Tyler.
That's, yeah, that's interesting because, like, I can definitely appreciate that. And, you know, I'm a big From Software. Oh, no.
Dude, again!
The same tire.
You know what I think's happening is I'm holding the jump button when I hit him, so it's pushing me a little bit further than just doing it automatically, you know?
Yeah. But I'm a big fan of the From Software games. And, like, a big criticism people have with those kinds of games, and I think it's an unjust or unfair criticism in certain contexts, and this is what I mean, is that they don't onboard you very well to those things. Like, you just kind of have to figure it out. And that's fair for people who play games where there is very clear onboarding, very clear tutorials and that sort of thing.
Like Red Dead Redemption 2,
What do you mean?
where it pretty much tells you exactly what you need to do and how you need to do it.
Yeah, it tutorializes a lot of stuff. But games like this, and in a modern sense, Dark Souls, they don't. And so, like, I guess what I'm trying to say is that if you can have, like, a respect for old game design like this, but then at the same time you kind of cross your arms and, like, oh, they don't make the game clear enough for me when you play something like Dark Souls, it seems a little like, I don't think that's a fair criticism. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the one thing I really like about these games, and I haven't played them a lot, is I like that callback to old game design like that. I mean, I know it's a nostalgia thing, like, oh, that's how I played games, but, like, if you go play any Mega Man game on the NES, that is a game that you have to learn exactly, like, you have to literally know what's coming. Like, you can't even know what's on the next screen. Like, there's one Mega Man game where, like, you're falling, like, you have to jump down, and as you're falling, like, lasers are coming out, and there's, like, platforms in different areas, and there's no way to react fast enough. There's just no way, unless you're, like, a wizard.
Yeah, and, like, for games like that, a lot of platformers and action games back then, when you ran out of lives, you were done. Like, you had to start back from the beginning. And modern games they're not as punishing in that way. Like in Dark Souls, when you're struggling to figure something out, at the very worst, you lose your XP, your souls. That's it. You don't have to start the game over.
Right.
Like, that would be huge BS because, like, a Dark Souls game is a good 30-40 hours. But, like, in that sense, it's a little more generous than those older games. And I guess all I'm trying to say by bringing up Dark Souls is that it definitely takes a lot from game design of, like, the past or whatever, in that it expects you to just kind of trial and error, to just get your way through it, to bang your head against the wall until you figure it out. And that's coming back in a big way, and I kind of like that a lot, because I don't have a ton of patience for platformers, but I do have a ton of patience for, like, action RPGs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Also, can I say, wow, how freaking, like, typical internet gamer it is of us to talk about Red Dead and Dark Souls in our first video.
Yeah.
Like, of course,
well,
they're starting a YouTube channel. They're going to talk about Dark Souls and Red Dead.
Yeah, well, those are, like, the two that come to mind, I guess.
Yeah.
Like this game in particular, like, you see how it's thrown all this stuff at me, but I can react.
Right.
I mean, I'm having to react pretty fast, but you know, it's not bullcrap whenever you miss something. Now, there's gonna be a couple levels you're gonna see where it kind of is, but those are gonna be a lot later. But right now, it's throwing things at me, and it has given me elements saying, like, hey, this does this, this does that. Now we're gonna throw them at you faster and faster, and you need to take the elements that we gave you and master them.
I appreciate that they have a temple of Zeus.
Yeah.
On DK Island.
They have a lot of, like, stoic, mysterious like temple ruins, which I guess are like see those Kremlin heads up there. I guess the Kremlins have like history on this island.
So that blows my mind that the enemies are called Kremlins.
Yeah, Kremlings.
Kremlings?
Kremlins, yeah.
Yeah. Like, what? That's crazy.
What's crazy about it?
I mean, what do we know in the real world that is the Kremlin?
A vehicle?
No, no. It's like the Russian CIA.
Oh, I don't know that.
You know?
I just learned something.
That is like none of this stuff happens on accident. It's not like they're like, oops, we didn't know. You know? So like, what does that mean? Is there something? Should we be reading into that a little bit? Is there a connection?
I don't know, man. I've always just considered. Oh man. I've always just considered them the bad guys. I mean,
they're the bad guys. That much is clear.
You know what's weird? I was watching GoldenEye earlier today.
Were you really?
I was, and the Russians are bad guys in that movie.
Was it because we were talking about?
Actually, no. Coincidentally, I had watched it on my lunch break.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
so that was after
I
the fact.
I just didn't say anything about it. I was like,
oh, that's fun.
Sometimes our conversations go places where it's just really ironic that something happened.
Like that weird meme that my friend referenced that that I saw after we had already talked about that exact thing. But yeah, you're exactly right. Like Russians make great villains in fiction. And
dude, one of the best villains of all time is a Russian from Rocky IV. That's a very important movie.
Yeah.
And it has a very good message in the end, which is we're all humans. Come on.
And if you want to be strong, lift that log.
You know what? That's something funny about Rocky IV is that the Ivan Drago, the Russian dude, he's training with like the most state-of-the-art equipment, and then Rocky's like literally throwing around a log and doing like the most awesome sit-ups and crunches I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. And it's like, I guess it's like a metaphor. It's like you don't need the most state-of-the-art stuff. You can be better than someone with what you have. Right.
Or not be better than someone, but you can be the best version of yourself.
That's right.
Because being better than someone is a bad message to send to children. Hey, you can be better than them.
Yeah. Oh man, I just screwed up real bad. I can't get past that.
Uh-oh.
Wait. Let's see if he despawns. Yeah,
hey,
there we go.
Praise be.
I really screwed that one up.
It worked out. What were we the Russian stuff? You know what's really funny about that is that you know Sylvester Stallone, whenever he was trying to get that ripped, he was doing Ivan Drago stuff.
Oh yeah, well I mean it shows Ivan Drago straight up shoot steroids.
He's juicing.
Yeah.
And so is Sly.
Yeah, dude, there's no way you can be that ripped.
No way you're that ripped with that little body fat. You know,
dude,
he was like 0.5% body fat. You don't get that being a normal human being.
Dude, look, I've been going to the gym for a while now. Like, so I've never gone to the gym consistently. Right. And I've been going to the gym like close to like 2 or 3 times a week. That's a little bit more than average for some people. And you know, I do like crunches and I do a lot of weights and stuff. I'm not going too hard, you know. I'm not on a strict diet or anything, and I can see myself getting pretty toned, and I live like a normal lifestyle. Yeah, I enjoy more carbs than your normal guy, but you know, there's no way I'm ever gonna get that ripped unless I'm spending every single day.
Remember
in the
what
gym.
I said earlier? I said anyone can be hot with the right amount of money.
Oh yeah.
Like that's, you know what I mean? Like if Sylvester Stallone had the physique of an average dude, he would be just an average dude. The only reason like he is so just jacked, you know, so bricked up, is because he had that role and they paid him to not eat, to have a personal trainer, to juice when he needed to juice. Yeah. How did we get into a conversation about
Rocky IV?
Freaking unrealistic body expectations.
Rocky IV.
Dude, a lot of 80s movies are so bad about that.
We're going to Clam City.
Hey man, take me down to the Clam City.
Let's see if this
where
is
the grass is green and the clams are gritty.